With the low attendance at Disneyland, Disney is turning this summer into the summer of classics.
Your attention, please.
What is shaking, everyone? Welcome back. Since the opening of Galaxy's Edge, Disneyland has been faced with a small crisis, and that is crowds simply are not showing up. Many guests believed that Galaxy's Edge was going to be this massive draw, and I shouldn't just say guests, Disney themselves believed Galaxy's Edge was going to be this massive draw. So guests that have to travel, that are coming from out of state, they didn't book their vacations during this summer period, this first summer that Galaxy's Edge is open. So what is Disney doing to combat this? What are they doing to try to draw people in? Because outside of the weekends, Disneyland's essentially a ghost town. Now, yes, there's still crowds, there's still people. It's not completely empty, it's not truly a ghost town. But compared to where we saw it just a few years ago for the 60th, and how it was almost always packed and always jam-packed since then, what is Disney doing to try to draw people back in? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, we'll first start with something really small that Disney tried to do just to try to make more money. It didn't stay, it only lasted a couple of days. And that was converting the Main Street Cinema into a little pop-up store. Now, there was many backlash, guests didn't like this. A lot of us old-timers, Disney faithful did not like how they transformed an iconic Main Street structure into this makeshift pop-up store. They literally just threw in clothes and merchandise and said, hey, we're a little store now. Yeah, it only lasted a couple of days. Backlash hit. People weren't going in. It was a complete and utter failure for Disney just to try to make a quick couple of dollars. So that was one little failed thing. Now we'll dive into the things that will actually draw people back into the Disneyland Resort. Back in late May, Disney announced that Soarin' Over California was set to return for a limited time only, and only for the month of June. Now this was originally coming back to offset Galaxy's Edge. It was hoping to draw people from Disneyland. But now it's turning into something to draw people just back to the resort in general. It was supposed to just take people away from Disneyland so that it wouldn't hit capacity, it wouldn't be completely booked. But now that it's not, now that it's completely empty, they're turning Soarin' Over California into something that draws guests back into the resort. Now, if you've seen any of our videos from our last little trip there at the beginning of June, we were under the assumption that Soarin' Over California was only staying through June. Well, that has since been extended through August 31st. Now, this isn't to combat Galaxy's Edge, this isn't to draw people from Disneyland, this is just to draw people back to the Disneyland Resort, because Disney is struggling that badly. So, what do you think? Because I know I was saying, get out here, get out here, get out here, you got to see it, you got to come check it out. Well, obviously I didn't help, Fresh Baked didn't help, all these people coming out and saying, you need to come out and see Soarin' Over California. Will extending this help? Will it draw more people to the park? I don't know if Soarin' Over California is that big of an attraction or that big of a fascination to draw enough people back to offset these lack of crowds that the Disneyland Resort is experiencing. But the next thing that was just announced, and this one is an even shorter amount of time, might actually help. The Main Street Electrical Parade is coming back to Disneyland. It was just announced just a couple of weeks ago that it is in fact coming back for an extremely short amount of time. From August 2nd through September 30th, the Main Street Electrical Parade will grace the streets of Main Street once again, and I can't be happier. We're going back in August, I'll be able to see it. It's one of my favorite Disney things of all time. So I'm extremely happy for this. Now, I think that guests will want to see this. Guests will show up to Disneyland to see the parade. Because every time we think something's lost and it comes back, everyone gets excited. We all get excited and we all kind of go, well, Disney, what are you doing? You said it was gone forever. Now it's coming back. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You still want to see it when it comes back. So I think the Main Street Electrical Parade will pull guests in. Even though it's only for, 2 months? August 2nd to the September 30th? There's only 2 months. It's a really short amount of time. But it's going to draw people into the parks. And that's why it's coming back. That's the only reason the parade is coming back, is to draw people back to the Disneyland Resort. Now, it is going to overlap with the holiday overlay, the Halloween holiday overlay inside of Disneyland. Now, I say that with quotes because Halloween isn't going to be celebrated inside of Disneyland this year. Yes, the decorations are going to be up, but the parties in that are going to be over in DCA. So that leads to another question. Could Disney possibly bring back Halloween into Disneyland? Because they originally moved all of the Halloween parties and celebrations over to DCA because they thought Galaxy's Edge was going to fill up the park. They believed Galaxy's Edge was going to fill up Disneyland for basically a whole year is what they anticipated. But since they have the lack of crowds, will they consider moving the Halloween party back into Disneyland? But I don't want to dive too far into that because I have a feeling I'm going to make a whole separate video on that. So what do you think? Do you think Disney is in big trouble here with these lack of crowds? Do you think they're doing enough to try to pull guests back into the park with extending Soarin Over California, with bringing back the Main Street Electrical Parade? Are they doing enough to make guests want to risk essentially showing up to Disneyland and battling these big crowds? Because honestly, these crowds are gone. They're gone for the summer. I don't think they're going to come back. Yeah, you'll have little pockets. The weekends will still be packed. But during the week, I still think it's going to be empty just because people can't book their trips last minute. These are booked months out, just like our trip is booked months out from Florida. Guests can't just on the drop of a dime decide, hey, we're going to Disneyland in a week. So I don't think crowds are going to change. So do you think Soarin Over California, do you think the Main Street Electrical Parade, do you think those are enough to draw people back into the park to satisfy Disney so they don't go bananas and start making drastic changes just to offset the cost? Because like I said, Galaxy's Edge was $1 billion land and they've got to pay for it somehow. So that's going to do it for today, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. If you haven't done so already, give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when other videos like this or other park adventure videos are uploaded. And as always, if you are at any of the Disney parks, tell Mickey and Minnie I say hi, and I will see you all a little later.